So, heading over to one of the properties now, and basically there's been this unusual issue where they've had a leak every time it rains. This is a relatively new complex built like within the last 10 years. And so we had it started with one unit. They said, hey, you know, we've got this moldy spot on our ceiling, second floor unit. You know, it's only 2 stories, so the roof is right over it. So we cut it out to try to see what's behind it, where the water could be coming from. We saw some like insulation and duct work and stuff like that. So we've seen stuff come through the ducts before. And so, not at that property, but at another property. So we ended up getting up there with an HVAC professional and looking at all the duct work and getting in the crawl space in the attics, and came to find out that it's probably not duct work. It's probably from the roof above it. So there's these vent pipes, interestingly enough, that kind of, I got up there with a home builder and a roofer, and again went back to this attic space. So there's these PVC vent pipes that go up from the units, from the second floor units, and then out the roof. And you know, think bathroom vents, you know, HVAC vents, stuff like that, but just hard PVC pipe. And basically the leaks line up with underneath where those vents are. So naturally we think, okay, maybe it's the boots around the vent pipes on the, you know, on the roof. So I have a roofer go up there. He seals off a couple of the vent pipes. Keeps happening. Well, one leak is fixed, but another one keeps happening. And so we're trying to figure out what's going on. In the meantime, this starts happening in like 5 other buildings. 5 other units are complaining about leaks, and they're all in the same area. It's either above the mechanical room, above the master closet, or above the master bathroom. So when we get up on the roof, we're looking, and basically every leak in all the buildings are aligning with where these vent pipes come out of the roof. And you know, it's not like an issue that we're able to, it's been ongoing for like 3-4 weeks. When it rains, there's a little bit of water. It's not a ton of water. In some units, it's not even causing any staining or anything like that of the sheetrock. But you know, it is something that the unit owners are concerned with. Obviously, they don't want mold in their units. They don't want water in their units. But you know, we're trying to, before just, you know, going up and doing stuff, we want to figure out what the actual nature of the issue is. And it's just kind of weird that that it's, I mean, these are relatively new buildings, and they're happening, every one of them at one time, and that's very unusual. We just took over this property about 4 months ago, and just trying to make sense of it all. So as I'm getting up there, I'm looking at the roofs and stuff like that, come to realize that there's a number of those vent pipes don't have either caps or arched tops to kind of prevent rain from coming in. So that's one thing. But then the plywood around the vent pipe is also wet. So if the water's coming in through the vent pipe, these PVC vent pipes, then you wouldn't necessarily expect there to be water on the underside of the plywood, underneath the decking and roof shingles. So the most likely answer is that it's these boots around these vent pipes that are going. And those boots are rated for maybe 10 years, 10 to 15 years. We've had a ton of rain this year, so maybe it's that. Anyways, in the time that we're trying to figure out this issue, a couple of board members are one of them who's directly being affected by, well, 2 of them who are directly being affected by this. One of them has a leak in her unit. No major damage, but obviously an inconvenience, and she's, you know, a middle-aged to older lady in HR, you know, not a construction person is what I'm trying to get at. And then the president, who's also, you know, same demographic, and, you know, she is fielding these calls from various unit owners throughout the complex that are having this leak. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, well, we want to figure out the best, most cost-effective solution for it. The amount of damage that's being done is minimal, in my opinion. However, what I failed to realize is these are all, pretty well-off professionals who, find it very troubling that there's water coming from their ceiling when it rains. They're very upset by this, and they don't want to wait to have it fixed. They want it fixed like yesterday. Understandably so. Sometimes I've got to take my contractor, property manager hat off and kind of put myself in the unit owner's shoes. I can see why this would be distressing to them, although I didn't initially see it. That said, so the president gets frustrated and stops by a roofing company down the street. I've never used them before. I don't think she has, but she walks in and says, "Hey, we've got this issue. We want someone to come check it out." The roofing company comes by and they check it out either once or twice, and then they call me, and essentially they set up a meeting yesterday with the board of directors and myself and the one of the guys from the roofing company to come give their assessment and their recommendation, their proposal. So I go in and I'm sitting there, and the roofer proceeds to tell us how these buildings, these roofs the building we're in at that moment is 10 years old. But these buildings are 10 to 14 years old. So I go and I sit down with the board of directors and the roofer proceeds to explain to me, young guy, probably my age, he proceeds to explain that the roofs are worn out, that the shingles, the architectural shingles or tiles, are saturated with water, and the water's getting through the shingles themselves because they're, GAF shingles, low quality, this and that, and they are regularly doing roof replacements on roofs that are 10 to 15 years old. And, I'm not a roofer, but I've been on some roofs. We've done roofing jobs in-house. Again, I don't claim to be a roofer, but I understand the process. I kind of know what goes into it. And I know kind of how this stuff is supposed to work. And his explanation of what's going on doesn't seem to sit right with me. He's saying that the shingles are worn out, that those sections of roof need to be replaced, and because it's a 4-pitch, that really it shouldn't have architectural shingles at all. It should have roll roofing, and that because of the pitch, they're proposing to remove the architectural shingles and put roll roofing down. This is a high-end complex, a nice complex. I don't know, roll roofing is not a good look, right? And I know it's just for sections of the roof, but it's not a great looking solution. If you were to say that I want to put down water and ice and then re-roof that area with architectural shingles, okay, maybe. But the fact that you want to leave it as roll roofing on this, and that a 4-pitch only gets roll, that doesn't sound right to me. His proposal is to, basically 10 grand per building to replace it, to re-roof those sections. And there's 7 buildings, right? And we have leaks in multiple buildings throughout the complex. So the proposed solution is a $70,000 solution for what seems to me like a vent issue or a vent boot issue. Now the board is so frustrated by this whole thing because they've been living with leaks for 3 weeks that they are ready to write the check for $70,000, blow their whole reserves, and just, whatever. We want this fixed. You tell us it costs $70,000, we'll pay you the $70,000. And they asked me my opinion in front of this guy. I said, I think we should get a second or third opinion on this because, before you throw 70 grand at a problem, make sure that what you're planning on doing is actually the best solution for the problem. I mean, and they don't like that answer. And the roofer definitely doesn't like that answer. He's like, I guarantee you that this is the problem and this is the solution. These tiles are worn out. So I called another roofer that I've worked with who's already been working on sealing those vent pipes. And he's done roofs for me in the past, and he's always been straight up. Like, if something needs to be replaced, if it's at the end of his life, he's the first one to tell me. He's straight up. And even he's like, yeah, that roof is in good shape. I don't know, I think you guys have at least, there's signs of wear, but you guys have plenty of life lifted. which is kind of what I was thinking, I think that there's probably 50% of its usable life still in that roof. So even the other roofer's like, yeah, that doesn't seem right. And he stands to re-roof the place too if it goes, it becomes a roofing job. But even he's like, nah, that doesn't seem right. I don't think that's your problem. So now I'm on the way back to this complex to meet a third roofer. And another roofer I've done work with before. I don't trust him as much as the other guy that I, just because I've done more work with the other guy, but a solid roofer. He's put roofs on different complexes that we've worked with before, given us proposals, good dude, and I have no issues. So we're about to get a third opinion. We're about to climb up there. As you can see, it's raining and overcast today, so that's going to be a little sketch, but I'm going to try to, show you guys what's going on with these roof vents. And, I've got some pictures from underneath inside the crawl spaces to show you kind of what it looks like and why it's kind of a little bit more of a complex problem. And it's not as cut and dry as, hey, let's re-roof these sections of roofs. And I'm going to show you kind of what I'm seeing as far as the condition the roof is in and whether or not it really is something that, whether it's really something that needs to be re-roofed or if there's a lower cost solution, right? Because to reboot all these vent pipes and seal them up, you're talking about maybe $5,000, right? So, and I told the president, I said, hey, listen, if 1 to 2 weeks would save you $60,000 to $65,000, would you wait? And she says, no. She says, if I could pay $70,000 to get it done tomorrow, or I can't wait another 2 weeks with these leaks going on. I can't do it. And for me, that I have to meet people where they are, but that goes beyond all sense of kind of reason for me, right? I don't understand that. But that's, she's who signs the contract. So I have to acknowledge it for what it is, right? She wants this done now. In construction, and I always say this, and this is an old adage, if anybody's been in construction for any amount of time, they know this. You get good, fast, cheap. Those are the three things everybody wants in construction. You can have any two of those, but not all three. You can have it good and fast, or good and cheap, or fast and good, but it's going to be expensive. Potentially what this roofing company would do in re-roofing that, they would probably end up changing out the boots and doing other minor repairs they may or may not see. And it would probably fix the issue. But you're solving, in my opinion, a $5,000 to $10,000 issue with a $70,000 solution. It's not a lot of water. There's going to be no catastrophic failure if you let it go on another couple weeks. And it's relatively inexpensive to fix sheetrock, right? You're talking about maybe a 2x2 square space of staining. I mean, that can be cut out and replaced for a few $100. So I don't see the sense in spending $70,000 for this solution. And I don't think that roofer expected me to show up and expected me to know really anything about roofing or what he's proposing. I get the sense that, he gets paid to sell roofs, right? He's doing his job. His job is to sell roofing projects, right? There's a minimum for roofers, to make it worth their while to come out and do roofing. And that's probably $5,000. Things less than $5,000, they're probably not going to want to waste their time with. So they propose a $10,000 solution per building, right? That's their job. He's doing his job. My job is to fight for the best interests of the community, right? In my opinion, my professional opinion, I think they're being taken for a ride. I think that it's a lazy solution and a lazy assessment of the problem, and not one that they use a good amount of detailed and critical thinking and said, hey, let me really try to get to the root of this issue using common sense and a little more time and analysis, right? I would rather spend the time on understanding the problem and analyzing it to come up with the best solution. And sometimes that is not the fastest solution, but it is the best solution and the least expensive, right? I've found myself falling into the type of contractor, the type of service provider that we do good work and we do it inexpensively, right? Because we try to find the most efficient ways to do things. But it's not always the fastest. And people get frustrated with me because it's not the fastest. And a lot of that is deliberate. It's not that I'm a slow to act person. It's actually the opposite. I generally am off the cuff, impulsive, shoot first, ask questions later. That's my nature. But I've had to learn and curtail that, because that's not always the best way that doesn't always get the best results. And I want the best results. And I found that if I'm patient and I'm methodical and I really let the solution come to me and let the problem come to me and don't just jump at the easiest answer, that I'm able to solve really complex problems at relatively low costs. And this is a new client. Other clients that I've worked with for many years, we've built trust. They understand how I work and they know that I'm on it. Eventually it will get done, and it will get done well, and it will get done cheap. But when you rush into something and just try to come up with the quickest, easiest answer, many times that's not the best answer. And I think that's what they're going to find with this project. Now I've got to come and put together a body of evidence to support my stance on this and why they shouldn't spend $70,000 on a roof, because left to their own devices, they would be cutting the check tomorrow. So we'll see how it goes. Get into the property now, and we'll go from there. So the roofer left, and I didn't give him any backstory. I just asked him to take a look at the roof and give his opinion, and lo and behold, he said the same thing I did. That sounds crazy. The roofs are in good shape, and that he found specifically where the vent pipes are probably failing. So, it's probably a couple $100 per vent pipe fix. And let's say we get 10 done and it costs $3,000. That's a far cry from a $70,000 repair. Now, for the, just so you guys see what we're talking about, let me show you. All right, so this is the complex. And these are the roofs that we're talking about, and specifically those vent pipes. So every building has those 4 vent pipes on them. All right, and as you can see, look at the condition of the roof. Look at that roof, right? These guys are saying that roof needs to be replaced, saying there's visible damage on the roof. The roofs are 10 years old. There's no signs of moss, streaking lines, water flow through anything. And they're saying that where those vent pipes are is a 4-pitch. And they want to remove all that roofing and put roll-on roofing. Now, do you see these? These are beautiful. Can you imagine roll-on roofing there? It's the most asinine thing I've ever heard, right? Oh, because it's a 4-pitch. No other roofer said that. Just remember that when contractors are telling you something, their job is to sell work, especially if it's a sales guy for a roofing company or a siding company or a window. If it's a sales guy, it's not the guy doing the work himself. They're getting paid commission, right? They're making money on selling you stuff that many times you may not even need. So, here we are, just doing a quick little vlog to show you guys look at that roof. Beautiful complex. You know, just keep in mind that these guys are paid to sell you stuff. I mean, look. This, my friends, is a section of roof that they're saying is past its usable life and needs to be replaced. It's 10 years old. Where those vents are is a four pitch for a roof. And they're saying that needs to be rolled roofing. It's asinine. That's crazy. Do you see these? Look at these buildings. They're beautiful. And you're going to put rolled roofing there? Absolutely nuts. Anyways. So here we are, and we have a roofer that's going to come out and fix it, and they're going to charge a fraction of the price. And you know, I hope the board appreciates that I just saved them probably $60,000 to $65,000 because, you know, they were going to just trust a contractor who has a, you know, special vested interest in selling this roof, right? And they're, you know, listen, if you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. If you're a roofer, you know, everything looks like a roofing job to you. You know, and at least now we have, you know, 2 roofing contractors plus myself who are all saying the same thing versus this one roofing contractor that, you know, wants to sell a roof. And who knows, maybe it's not a reflection of the owner of the company. You know, it's just one of his guys, one of his techs. He said he's a family member of the owner. So, you know, I don't know. He may, usually, this isn't always the case, but many times if you're family of the owner, you may not have earned your position. And I see that so many times. I mean, my mom had a business and I worked at her business and I was probably one of her worst employees. At that point in my life, I had not earned anything. I was given a job and I was, you know, I was entitled. And, you know, I didn't do a good job because I never knew what it meant to have to work for it or build it myself. You know, this business I've built all on my own and I've learned a lot through that. But just because someone says they're family or a family member of the owner, that shouldn't give you confidence. It should give you a little bit of pause. Red flag should go up. When someone, you know, when we were sitting down and I started to question what this guy was saying, he got very defensive. He was, you know, 100%. There's no way that I'm wrong about this issue. This is the issue. 110%. Certain that this is the issue. You know, people whose egos are that big that you know, they get frustrated or they get frazzled when you question what they're saying. People who, you know, you say you're going to get a second or third opinion and they get a little nervous. You know, there's something that they don't want you to know, and they're trying to sell you on something. They're trying to take you for a ride. Don't fall for it. And the other thing, a big takeaway from this that I also want to mention is this roofing company, I don't want to say their name because it's just in poor taste, but they have 5-star reviews, right? They have 5-star reviews. One of the board members of this association knows the owner of the company. They're reputable. You know, they came well recommended. But it might not necessarily mean anything, right? Probably the work they do is phenomenal. The question is, did you need that work to be done in the first place? So, you know, if your roof is 10 years old or 15 years, and they say they do a lot of roofs on buildings that are, or roofs that have been, you know, that are 10 or 15 years old. You know, again, they're a roofing company. Their job is to do roofs. You know, a 10-year-old roof or a 15-year-old roof, it's probably not, the roof is probably not the issue. Talking about how the shingles are saturated and the water's getting through the shingles and this and that. Like, there's degranulation. They're just saying stuff. They're just saying words to sell you on something. And don't fall for it. Anyways, that's all I got. I'm glad we were able to save the day. If you need someone with a more critical eye, or who is willing to just outwork the problem and get you the best results at the best price, think of us. Give us a call. Paladin Property Management. Like, subscribe if you want more content like this, and we hope to help condo owners everywhere, and just by making sure that we're putting out good information and educating people on, you know, what to look out for. So thank you guys. Talk to you later. Hey guys, just want to do a quick video on the results of that issue and update you guys on what ultimately happened. So we had a few of the roof vents fixed by one of the roofers we got the second opinion on, and then the rest fixed by the other roofer that we got the third opinion from. They both did a great job. It's resolved all of the leaks. Really, what it boiled down to, one roofer was charging $315 per boot to replace them. The other one was at $175. Both were great. I think both prices were good. One was just half of the other one, right? And one guy had more availability. But all of the leaks the boots have been replaced and the leaks have been fixed. And then we've gone in and replaced any of the damaged sheetrock that were inside the units. And, you know, everybody's happy. I mean, I wish it could have gotten done sooner, but when you don't know what the issue is or the correct solution, because it's a brand new problem, you know, sometimes it takes a little longer. But, you know, now that we've figured out what was going on and what's been going on, you know, the new requests that have come in for leaks get resolved right away. And, you know, it's a happy ending. And at the end of the day, you know, we successfully saved the association a little over $65,000, probably around $67,000 when it was said and done, compared to the $70,000 plus tax that the roofer wanted to charge us for replacing those sections of roof. So, you know, when we price our services, understand that built into that price is just a more competent individual that, you know, even if you pay a little more to go with us, that, you know, we're going to save you money in the course of us doing our job because we're good at our job. You know, we look for the best solutions and the best answers, and, you know, we're not lazy when we're trying to solve a problem. So thanks guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe for more stuff like this. It could save you a lot of money, could save you a lot of time, could save your association if you decide to go with us. All right, bye.